G'day and welcome to once more another episode. Have we decided yet? Is it going to be Retrocity?
Yeah.
Or it's welcome to another episode of Retrocity. What?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah, we
It's
took
been
a
a while.
little break. It was holidays.
Yep.
Now we're back.
Yep. My name is Crispy. Welcome to Retrocity, and I'm joined as always by
Omega.
what's up? So
we are, just to say, we're a bit rusty.
Yep.
Like we said, it's been a while, so we're going to see how it goes.
But the best way to find out if you can still swim is to just jump in the middle of the ocean and just hope you remember the doggy paddle.
Yeah.
So that's what we're hoping for, is at least getting some of the basics correct, and then hoping for the best, and just uploading this to our one fan and hoping he enjoys it.
Yeah.
I really hope he enjoys our shout outs and tells all of his friends that we're back.
Yeah.
We're back.
We're back. Hold on to your fucking seats, guys. We're back.
this year's gonna get insane. We've got parties. We've got champagne on the ice.
Video games.
All of them. All of the video games.
All of the video games. All of the movies.
All of them. It's
All
gonna
of
be on our
everything.
website. It's gonna be free to download. All right, so just let's just cut to the chase here. We here with Retrocity, and our very first game is gonna be Painkiller HD, or Hell and Damnation. Now, for anybody that doesn't really know what Painkiller is, it's a good old-fashioned run 'em and shoot 'em game. That's basically all you really do.
Run 'em and gun 'em.
Run 'em and gun 'em.
Now, we didn't do any research on the game.
No, because it's not really necessary.
Yeah.
For one thing, we all know that Painkiller was made by People Can Fly, which is a Polish developer.
Yeah, everybody knows that. That's common knowledge.
Everybody should fucking know that. Because the first Painkiller was sort of an out-of-the-blue type of great game that just, reminded us all that Serious Sam was a game that existed. And then they decided to remake it about 3 more times, and then decided to remake it finally in HD, which is this version right here.
So the only thing the original did was remind you that Serious Sam was a game.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It reminded you that Serious Sam was a game, and a lot of other companies also remembered that Serious Sam existed, and a lot of other companies started to remake these run 'em and gun 'em games.
Yeah.
Comes to mention our next game, which is going to be Hard Reset, which is one of those games. All of them really just focusing on one thing, really, and that's graphics. So all of them just making the game as pretty as possible, while keeping it as simple as possible.
Well, it was an action game.
That's pretty much what you can
Put
expect
in
out
some
of it.
heavy metal music.
Pretty much. This basically has Hell theme, so where say Serious Sam has a little bit of an outworlder or like an alien type of feel. This was supposed to be your Hell game you played, and then you play Hard Reset when you want your cyberpunk fix, but all 3 of them are basically the same, pick up guns and shoot them. Enemies keep on spawning. Until you clear the room, and as soon as you clear this room, you go into the next
kill
room.
a bunch of enemies,
Pretty
wave
much.
after wave. See how much you can click, how fast you can click.
Pretty much.
Although I have to say, I'm not a big fan of Painkiller.
Not that much.
The game is pretty. The weapons is awesome. That's one thing that Painkiller does right, is the weapons are really good. But it's a boring game. Whereas Serious Sam, still, it can get boring, but I enjoy playing Serious Sam. I still enjoy playing Serious Sam.
You see, the only thing for me that convinced me onto buying this one was the fact that you can actually do the co-op.
Yeah.
You can co-op the whole campaign. And that's the one thing that Serious Sam always did that was just incredible, You could play the whole campaign.
I mean, we used to play Serious Sam a lot at LANs, like old school LANs.
Always. That's what we played.
Yeah.
But with all the other Painkiller games, it was a single player experience. They didn't have multiplayer until this one. So I decided to get this one. just on the purely on the aspect of multiplayer, and then they released the Serious Sam HD collection, and I just forgot about this and just went back to playing Serious Sam.
But then we played this one together. We bought this one together, I think.
Did we actually play it together though? I
did,
don't remember.
the first 3 missions, I think,
Perhaps.
and then never again.
It's quite possible, but it's safe to say that I'm also not the biggest fan of Painkiller. I was not always the biggest fan of it, mostly because I did also find it quite boring. The amount of enemies you get is very limited, especially in the first release. The HD version, or the Hell and Damnation version, is on a new engine, which is the Unreal Engine, which the first one was not built on, and it has, all the enemies of all the games. So they certainly try to actually give a little bit more variety, especially in the enemies, but I'm still gonna say, like, the environments, they all feel the same.
Yeah.
It's the same. If you played the first Painkiller and you really loved it, and you really hope they, just improve the graphics just a little bit,
Just updated the game.
yeah, this is the one you'd play. That's about as far as it goes. So you play as this character here. Completely forgot his name because he is generic brown-haired, brown-eyed.
Generic action character.
Yeah, pretty much. And you play him, and his wife died in a tragic car accident.
Generic action story.
Generic action story. And she was sent to heaven, but he wasn't sent to hell or heaven. He was sent into purgatory, limbo.
Yeah.
So death comes to him and tells him, "Collect me the souls of the damned, and I shall reunite you with your wife." And that's basically the amount of what you're going to do in Purgatory. You don't have that much to do anyway in Purgatory. You might as well be a demon-slaying badass. That's basically what the story is. I didn't even need... That's literally what happens. If you watch this cinematic, you got the whole fucking story.
I mean, the game looks cool, man. That monsters look cool.
It looks
Everything
cool.
looks cool.
I've always had a little bit of a fascination with the satanic stuff.
Yeah.
And this game really delivers on that. I mean, that's why we played Diablo. It was a little bit taboo, perhaps, back in the day, but
even this game, I remember Painkiller coming out, was like, "Whoa, this game is pretty evil."
insane, man. People getting electrocuted and shit.
And I love that, especially back then when the game was a little evil. No, it was awesome. Unfortunately, this game was evil, but that's all it had. It was evil and it was pretty.
Yeah, it's about that. That's about that. Had a lot of cool stuff they did with physics and shit like that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Stuff that was really innovative back in 2007.
Yeah, this was
probably even way back. It was like 2005, perhaps?
One of the first games that really had ragdoll effects, and they gave you that stake gun, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, the timber tree, where you just literally impale him with a fucking tree to a wall. I don't think I get that weapon in this game, but if I actually show it in this video, you're in for a treat. So, we left off last time on our top 10 lists. 2015. And we did the top 10 worst games of the year. We can give you a quick rundown. By all means.
Okay, so at 10 we had Soma. 9 was Mad Max. 8 was I Am Bread. 7 Angry Birds 2. 6 Trove. 5 Order 1886. 4 Ronin. 3 Tales of the Borderlands. 2 WeAmError Quest. And our number 1 spot, winner of the worst game of 2015, Arkham Knight.
It's good that we actually recorded that previously and just edited that in there. It's gonna work out good, I think.
So if you want to get a bit more info on why these games are on the list, check out the previous episode.
Previous videos, we did pretty much like an entire hour on just our top 10 worst. But we can get on to our top 10 best games of 2015, which is the one everybody's been waiting for, getting like emails,
death
like
threats.
Fucking crazy. When are you guys gonna release this shit?
It's been a fucking
I can't live my life until you complete it. Shit like that. So we're finally gonna do it.
People were like, they can keep Half-Life 3. Just give us your top 10 list.
We don't give a fuck about Gabe Newell. Just give us the fucking list. That's exactly what happened. Yeah. So we're gonna start off by adding one that probably doesn't deserve to be there, because it released a year before, which is GTA 5.
That's why it's number 10 on our spot.
We put it on a number 10.
We cheated a little bit.
If I'm going to be honest, it's probably the best game I ever played, so, it would be number 1 on every list I ever put. But, I put it on top 10 because it released the year before.
But it also released
In 2015 because they had the PC release, which was quite a bit of a big, step up or upgrade from the original console version, as well as releasing it to the new generation consoles.
So for our listeners, or to our listeners who actually watch our show, they probably know that I haven't played GTA 5. We've spoken about it quite a lot.
Yep.
And I finally gotten around to playing it.
Yep.
Finally. And I would agree with you. Maybe the best game ever.
I'm gonna definitely say that. It's just the mechanics of the game work so well. The world is just so well crafted. The story isn't the best ever.
But the characters make up for the story, I think.
I felt invested in all three of them.
For me, it's not about the story. It's about how these characters develop.
Exactly. Some people complained quite a bit about the character of Trevor. Oh, he's just like such an insane person.
I don't know why. Yeah, he's probably my favorite.
He's like one of my favorites too, because he's a little bit more complex than the other characters.
Yeah.
You never really know what he's gonna do, but that's sort of the point of the character.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be literally a fucking psychopath.
For me, I know your favorite character is Franklin.
Yeah.
But for me, he's my least favorite because he's just a standard character.
Yeah.
There's not much happening with him. He's just this guy growing up in
I hear you.
the Bronx or whatever, and then just trying to make a living for himself, move his way up the criminal ladder.
Yep.
Whereas Trevor, he's the psychopath, but he's mostly a psychopath. But
That's basically
the whole
it.
idea of him living with these rednecks who are all fucking morons.
Yeah.
And all his friends are these morons, but he's obviously very intelligent.
Yes.
And Franklin, that's got this, this middle-aged gangster thing going for him. It's awesome.
I really like I said. Why is Michael your favorite though?
I'm torn between Michael and Trevor.
Torn between them. All right.
But I still have a wild way to go in the game.
All right.
I'm about third into the storyline. So before I actually got Trevor, Michael was my favorite, but then I got Trevor. Now I'm like,
Trevor's a fun.
most of the time I play with Franklin just because I like his ability.
Yeah.
If I just want to fuck around in the city, I'll play with Franklin.
Yeah, because he drives better. He can drive a car, unlike any of the other two characters. All right, so I guess we can move on to our number 9.
Titan Souls.
Yep. I haven't played this one much. I got to the first boss, which was the big bubble, which just plops into a million pieces, and then I said, no thank you. Why is this your number 9?
Well, the game is pretty as fuck.
I will agree.
Soundtrack is amazing.
I will agree.
It's this. It came around the same time as all these Dark Souls and stuff. And obviously, follows the same pattern. But just Titan Souls was just, for me, it was just better because I like the idea that you're just this young child. You're not a hero trying to make a name for yourself in this fucked up world. You're just this one child with them one arrow, this magic arrow, and you have to defeat these fucking colossal things.
That is interesting.
Yeah,
I'm gonna admit that. That is a cool idea.
But yeah, I've played the game quite a bit, but yeah, it's difficult as fuck.
That's the one thing I took away from it.
So I also kind of eventually stopped because
It's difficult.
I'm not
as
going to
fuck.
invest that much time into one fight. But I mean, I know a lot of people love those types of games.
Yeah.
So if you like challenging games like Dark Souls and Demon Souls, definitely play Titan Souls.
I think there should be a little bit of a crossover there, because if you don't like retro games, you're not going to like that game
fair
either.
enough,
If you like those difficult old school games, perhaps not like Metroid, but
More like if you like
Perhaps-
Legend of Zelda boss fights,
that's
you'll
what I
love
mean.
this because it's just what it is. Just even more difficult.
it's like a very miniaturized version of Shadow of the Colossus. When I played it,
Exactly,
I was constantly reminded of the game Shadow of the Colossus, because it felt the same atmosphere. You're this literally most vulnerable character in the world, and you're supposed to defeat the most powerful creatures in the world with nothing but a magical sword and a horse. All right.
Moving on.
We're going to move on to number 8. I don't remember if we actually did a video on this, but we did do a
We
video
did,
on
but
this.
we never released it. It was I think it was our first one, wasn't it?
It was probably our first one,
Yeah.
because this is a game that really made quite a bit of an impact on me. I played it pretty much up to completion, and that's saying something. The next game is Hand of Fate. Like I said, I pretty much played it almost up till completion, and it's one of those very difficult games. The game that really wants as many things to be in your path as possible, and just to do as many things as possible to not let you finish at all.
Yeah.
So it's a very roguelike game, and it's based a shitload on luck. So that's why it's very surprising to me that I enjoyed it so much, because it's one of these very, very difficult games, and that I actually completed it. It's surprising constantly. It feels fresh constantly. Even what you basically do in the game is you build a deck of cards, which is supposed to be your encounters and your inventory. So any cards that give you a little bit of a boon would be your inventory cards, but each and every one of the cards you draw that is an environment is going to be slightly different almost every time you draw it. And the fact that the game keeps itself so fresh with content that you've unlocked perhaps in the beginning of the game keeps it so interesting. Like, you constantly want to see how's your character going to do now? How is he going to complete this one? Finally, I can actually beat this specific card that was giving me so much shit. Some things that might be a little bit bad about the game, for instance, the fact that some of the fights or some of the encounters take a little too long. Like, for instance, you perhaps spend about 10 minutes on a game in the beginning of the game, but the further you get, the more levels you get, the longer it gets. Like, it could go up to about 30 minutes to 40 minutes an encounter. But that was one of the things that I really liked about it, was it could easily be picked up quickly and put down quickly, but eventually it got to the point where you had to put in a significant amount of time into an encounter.
For me, it was just like we're living in a time where everything just gets remade and rebooted.
Indeed.
It was nice to see something that's just really original.
It's a really, really original game. It gets across deck building as well as a very good combat system, which I'm still going to say, as simple as it is, it's still very effective. Alright, moving on to number 7. Project Cars. This is one of mine, since I'm the only one that plays car games in the entire world, I'm pretty sure. But this one is on my list because it was a company that did a previous racing game called Shift for the Need for Speed franchise, and they made 2 games, Shift 1 and Shift 2. At which point they unfortunately
So was it Need for Speed Shift? Or?
It was Need for Speed Shift and Need for Speed Shift 2. And then the company sort of fell back, and they were very quiet for a couple of years. And then a few years later, they spawned this idea of Project Cars on the Greenlight. I think it was Greenlight. It doesn't really matter on which one of the starter kits it was. But it spawned there, and it was the same company. And they literally just built a very good racing simulator with sufficient amount of arcadey bits to actually keep it playable for just about anybody, but just as much difficult bits to actually keep the fans of racing simulators happy. Finds a very good middle part for those two.
I don't really play racing games. I'm not good at it. I suck at it. That's probably the biggest reason why I don't play them.
The most recent one you've ever played was Autosport.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I have to say, it was quite fun.
Indeed.
But I do know a lot of people who enjoy racing games, and most of them who do own like new consoles or PCs and do own Project Cars say they really enjoy the game.
Like I said, it's an excellent racing game. It doesn't baby steps you like any other Need for Speed games, and it doesn't kick you in the balls the whole time like any Gran Turismo game. All right, moving on to number 6.
Wolfenstein: The Old Blood. So this was the, I guess you can say, expansion or whatever. Small
add-on
thingy. Not even. It's standalone expansion, I guess. It's the correct term,
I suppose,
for the New Order. Awesome game, just as fun as the New Order. It introduced a few key things that's quite important for the Wolfenstein series, like the supernatural element, which
Indeed.
was missing for me from the New Order. Unfortunately, the game is just a bit short,
That's the only
but
problem.
it's
I have.
long enough that you can say,
You know, I'll put it on the list just because the New Order was so good. Uses the same engine, uses the same mechanics, uses all that shit. So that's how good the New Order's mechanics and the gameplay was. But the big problem with this one I had was just the fact that it was very short, and it felt very rushed in the last hour of the game. There's the supernatural element.
yeah, but there's not enough of it. They
It's
introduce
just
this
not
supernatural
enough.
stuff, and you're like, fuck yeah, finally, I get to fight some zombies and shit.
Yeah,
And you do it for like an hour, and then they take it away from you.
pretty much.
But it's still a fun game. I enjoyed the hell of it. If you like Wolfenstein, the New Order, definitely play this game.
Oh yeah. You're still gonna have a shitload of
Yeah.
fun. You're still gonna enjoy the cock out of it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna
it's
say.
cheaper than you get about 8 hours of play of it, but you pay for that, but just about 8 hours.
Yeah.
So you don't feel cheated or anything.
I'd say it's even if you go and purchase it on Steam, I don't think it sells at the same price as New Order.
No, it's much cheaper.
It's probably around about
Yeah.
half the price.
Yeah.
And if you just want to know how good New Order is, play this one.
Yeah.
You're not going to miss out on anything really. You're going to get the prequel, which this is. This is a
Yeah.
prequel to the actual story. So, if you're not sure about if you're actually going to like Wolfenstein, purchase this one. Spend some time with it, and if you really enjoyed it, then you're in
Yeah.
for a real fucking treat
Yeah.
when you play New Order.
Okay, next one we've got at number 5, This War of Mine. So this is a game that's really not a lot of games get emotions right, like can
Yeah.
make you feel really emotional, and this game really got it right.
Yeah.
It's a cool idea. I like the idea that you're in this town, you have to go explore and find shit to build and expand your base. But the thing that this game really did right is it makes you feel like a fucking asshole.
It definitely does.
It's quite difficult. Like, I played it for quite a while and got quite far, and then you can just kind of see how everything just starts going wrong. And you try to save your people, but just you struggle and you can't. And eventually, the nice thing about it is the diaries that they have, and all the characters got his own diary and stuff. And you just start feeling, I failed these guys. I was supposed to protect them and make them survive, and I failed them. It's my fault that they're going to die.
It's possible that there's a few games that I've stopped playing because I got too terrified and
Yeah.
I can't play it anymore. One of them was probably the first Amnesia game. I couldn't play it anymore because it was causing me physical stress. I was hyperventilating. Perhaps not that bad, but I just had to stop playing it because I was gonna die of fucking fear.
Yeah.
But however, this is the first game I'm gonna say that's made me stop playing it because of depression.
Yeah, I played it quite a while, and I got quite far, and then when I failed, I never picked up the game again, because I just felt so bad.
I felt so depressed every time I had to make an incredibly difficult decision. For
It's
instance,
really plays with morals really well.
for instance, one time, my gang, my troop of people was attacked by enemies, and most of them were pretty badly injured, and I didn't have anything to actually fix them up with. But I remember there was this house with these old people in it,
Same with me, man.
and these old people had some medicine.
Yeah.
And I was not really gonna go rob some gang members in a supermarket for them. And these old people don't have guns.
Yeah.
So there might not be that much of an objection.
I just remember getting to those, because it's like an old lady and an old man in this
Yeah.
house. And I
he's-
got into their house, and they're all friendly. They're
Yeah.
just like, just come in.
You can
Take
come
what you
in.
need. Just leave the medicine.
Just leave
and
the
the
medicine.
food. And they tell you about, they just got raided by raiders.
Yep.
So they're lucky to be alive, and they're all friendly with you. And I just remember, I just walked into the medicine cabinet, and I'm just like, I'm really, really sorry, but I need this, or else I'm gonna die. And
I
just took
stole
everything.
I stole the stuff, and then the guy runs around in the house being like a madman. And then I remember when I got back, and my character wrote in his diary, I stole off of some old people today. but it was one of my characters that was a little bit of a dick.
Yeah.
He didn't really care about the other characters. He just cared about his own survival, and he saw the whole thing as, it's fine. They're
Most of
all
my
fucking
characters
people.
said that. They were like, most of them. I think there was one who said like, "This, we shouldn't have done that. That's bullshit." But most of them were like, "That was really horrible what we did, but it was necessary."
But my personal feelings
Yeah.
was that's just so horrible, and I cannot play with you guys anymore.
Yeah.
Like you are just so evil. All right.
Yes. Next up, number 4, Pillars of Eternity.
Yep.
So this game released like early.
Very early, yeah.
So who made it again?
I
It
have
was like a small indie company.
zero
It
idea.
was kickstarted as well.
Yeah. Yep.
So this was made after to emulate like the old Baldur's Gate games, all Infinity Engine games.
Yep.
And if you like RPGs with like a lot of depth, definitely play this one.
Is there?
If you like Baldur's Gate, if you like all those Infinity Engine games,
I
definitely play
remember you
this.
played this actually quite a bit,
Yeah,
and this is one of those really story types.
of course. Like it's
Yeah.
it's a lot like Baldur's Gate. Like it's heavy story, a lot of exploration. The system is pretty difficult though. It's pretty advanced, a lot of numbers and stuff you don't really understand.
But it doesn't use one of the
No,
core
no,
rule systems that we actually know.
No, there's no D&D or Pathfinder. It's got its own system that's even more advanced than D&D and Pathfinder. It takes account a lot of numbers and variables and stuff. But it's not. I think Baldur's Gate is more difficult to get used to.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's the only problem I have with those old Baldur Gates is it uses the very old D&D
Yeah.
system.
But I mean, this game definitely has like. There's a lot of stuff you like. I'm not sure what this stat does.
Yep.
Maybe it should be high. I don't know.
Most of the
Yeah.
stuff is
But
like,
the game has like a crazy amount of lore. For every monster you fight, it has its own page. Like looks, it's as if it's in the bestiary for Pathfinder. It's got its
Oh, yeah?
own page with like rules, descriptions, which is really nice.
that sounds incredible.
They did like a few really interesting things. Like you get like this bard type character class, which he doesn't use spells or anything. He makes up like a song, and you can choose which parts of your song to change.
Yeah.
That gives you different buffs, which is quite interesting.
Yeah.
Which is nice, I think, for a bard type character.
That's pretty cool. I should actually still have a look at that. You didn't play Original Sin that much, did you?
No. I played it like that one time with you.
So I played Original Sin a lot more than I suppose. About as much as you played Pillars of Eternity. Now, the big problem I had with Original Sin was the amount of depth it has and the amount of reading you
Yeah,
have
that's
to
the same
get
problem
through.
with Pillars of Eternity. Like, you get like this ability to kind of read people's minds.
Yeah.
Like, look into their history or whatever. And I just stopped doing that because it's not. You don't have to do it to advance the story. You just like all these random people you meet in the world. Each of them has their own little history thing,
They've got a little bit
and
of fluff.
it's just too much, you know.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
there's still, there's a lot of reading, unfortunately.
Like I said, I totally get why people still play that. And if I was one of the people that really enjoyed playing games that I have to read a lot in,
I really think this is a game made for people who want another Baldur's Gate.
Yeah.
If you don't like those games, you're not going to like this one. I mean, it looks exactly the same, which is nice.
I saw that, yeah.
You know, everything is it's hand painted and stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
Except the characters are in 3D, which looks great.
Yeah.
The only real problem I had is there's certain areas where you get under a tree and you can't really see what's going on.
Oh yeah.
It uses the same pause and play mechanic, which I think is a bit. It's good, but it's getting now a bit outdated. I would rather say just give you total control, turn-based. I think that would maybe be better because now it's difficult to be really tactical in combat.
I hear what you're saying. That's the big problem I have with replaying, say, Neverwinter Nights and so forth. It's just I don't know exactly what's happening, and in those types of games, you gotta know exactly what's happening. You gotta know whose turn it is. You gotta know whose initiative is higher. You gotta know shit like that.
I mean, I like pause and play because
there's the timber gun.
Yeah. I like the pause and play because of with my spellcasters and stuff that's heavy ability focused. I want total control. But with my fighters that just do like one ability and just charge and attack, they can do whatever they want, be on their own. So the pause and play works nice for that.
Yeah, no, I completely. I hear what you're saying. There was another game I also played, Arclash. which was also sort of like that.
Yeah.
Which is the pause and play game, and that one actually did it relatively better for me than say Neverwinter Nights did.
Yeah.
Because that game really took interest in actually giving you all the information.
Well, I would
Nonetheless,
say Neverwinter Nights was pretty shitty for me because, well, this is Neverwinter Nights 2.
yeah,
Neverwinter Nights 1 was fine. Because Neverwinter Nights 2 had like a mix between pause and play, full control, whatever, like Baldur's Gate, or like pause and play control, and AI, like you'll pause, but your character will still do whatever the fuck they want.
yeah, pretty much.
Just go all the way pause and play, or not.
Yeah.
Don't try to find a middle ground.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, that's definitely something you.
Neverwinter Nights 2's controls was really shit for me.
To be honest.
There was a few updates that they released that kind of improved it, but it still wasn't great.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit they fucked up in that game, but it's still the best one for if you want to play 3.5. It's the only one you want to play if you want to play 3.5.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, let's move on to number 3. We have Witcher 3. This is going to be this is my pick for number 3, which is it's that big RPG everybody knows.
Not much to say about it.
No, not really. If you've ever seen anybody talk about it for like a minute, you've heard everything there is to talk about, for Witcher 3. It's a massive game, does RPG very well, doesn't need you to actually read anything. Everything's voice acted, and it has the amount of depth that, say, Pillars of Eternity even has. But the big difference is it's not really that much Western fantasy.
But we'll get to that in our next video.
Alright,
Yeah.
let's move on to our next one. And we're back. We left off last with Witcher 3, and let's just go down the list.
Before we go on, let's just talk about the new game you're showing.
Do we really? Alright then. So, this is Hard Reset. It's also one of them run-em-gun-em, shoot-em games. And like I said, this is the cyberpunk game you play when you want one of those run-em-gun-em, shoot-em games. And the first thing you'll notice is it's pretty.
This game is really pretty for its time. Because I actually played it for the first time quite recently.
Yeah?
Like maybe a month ago. And I was just really surprised about how
it's so
looks
pretty.
amazing. I think, because it came out like 2010, I think.
Yeah?
I would imagine that if you played this back then, that you would be fucking blown away.
Yeah, no,
because this like stands up to games that's being released today.
Yeah, no, certainly.
Except the only thing that it's really that you can see is a bit all this like the flames and stuff.
The
But
only
the textures are amazing.
Really amazing. I'm going to say that this game, like you said, it still looks good for games today. And you have to remember this was a very small company that made this game.
Yeah.
It was like a very small indie company that eventually released this game. But anyway, sorry.
I know, I have one like small problem, actually quite a big problem, is I expected something different.
Yeah?
I expected it to be something more like the lines of old shooters like Quake.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought it was going to be maybe a bit more like that, and then it's actually just shoot these hordes of enemies.
Exactly. Go to this room, shoot them all. Go to this room, shoot them all. And agreed. That gets very, very old very quickly in this game.
I think it would have been better if I don't like the enemies that much.
Yeah.
They're just like these robots, quite boring. I think if they did something a bit different, that would be cool.
Certainly more variety in the enemies would have been welcome.
Yeah.
After playing like 3 to 4 hours, you'll notice that most of the enemies you fight are just about the same.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure about the rest of the game. I've never finished it. But it's certainly fun. If you want to spend some money on a game that's like really good on sale,
If you're looking for a lot of explosions, a lot of bang bang, then this is perfect.
pretty much.
There's a lot of explosions in this game.
A lot of it revolves around environment destruction.
Yeah.
So you use like an electric box to create like an arc field somewhere,
Yeah.
and there's like an arc of lightning that shoots.
It's a big
enemies.
part of the game. You have to use the environment to your
Pretty
advantage
much.
to destroy as many enemies as possible.
Another thing of the game is there's only 2 firearms. There's the machine gun and the plasma gun. And the big draw is each of these guns can be upgraded to become other guns. Like your machine gun can switch between machine gun, grenade launcher, rocket launcher, shotgun, and I think probably sniper rifle. There's always fucking sniper rifle. And the plasma gun, pretty much, you get your plasma gun and your Tesla gun, which is just arcs of lightning that shoots from it, and all these different firearms. I don't have a list in front of me. If you want to find out, you go play the game yourself.
I think they missed out on a big opportunity. I think this would have been so much more awesome if we had both guns out at the same time.
Yeah, like a special buff or something.
The whole game.
The whole game.
It must be like your left arm and your right arm, like in Skyrim. I think that would change the game so much, and it would be so much more fun.
It would have made your character like a badass son of a bitch, like that could never be killed by anything ever.
This game is actually quite difficult. I died a few times.
Very difficult. This is a seriously challenging game. You're gonna find yourself dying a lot before you upgrade your shit.
Okay, so I think we said enough about the game.
Yeah, the rest you're gonna see anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, we left off with Witcher 3, and did we go down the list? Very deep, all voice acted, very good graphics,
Pretty nice
game.
Small details.
A shitload of
and
nice
crazy details, like the fact that your hair grows in the game.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. But there's gonna be the big but I have with this game, and it's a pretty big one. The character or the voice actor of Garrett, is it Gerald? Garrett? Whatever his fucking name is,
Gerald.
Is the world's boringest voice actor ever. Throughout the entire game, you can ask whatever questions you want in whatever way you imagine he will ask it, and it will always be delivered in exactly the same fucking way. Now, sure, it's the same guy that does the voices throughout all of them, so there might be a reason why he's there, but
he's not great.
Still the most boring man ever. It's just I never felt invested in Geralt himself. His world was very interesting. His story, who was living in, was pretty interesting. But just the character of Geralt, I've never felt that invested in him, because he's boring as shit when he talks, and he kind of comes off as a dick.
Yeah.
Like most of the time. Like he'll never, like very rarely do something just because
I don't mind if your main character's dick. I mean, God of War, you just play the biggest asshole ever, and I kind of like it.
It's an RPG game, and I don't want to be the biggest asshole when I'm a hero, when I'm supposed to be a hero in a story, especially this type of thing. I mean, God of War, the guy's a dick, and that's kind of his whole fucking thing. You don't really roleplay that character as much, but you definitely have to roleplay Geralt of Rivia.
Another thing that you always say is that it's got this wall, that the lore is just kind of strange.
Extremely.
And I felt that that's my biggest problem with all of these Witcher games. Why I didn't really like previous ones is...
It's a troll. It's just not a troll you think it is. You know?
Everything's got a fucking name that you can't pronounce.
Pretty much. I still the one word that still rings in my mind will be what's it, a lubberkin. Just so ridiculous to say. Lubberkin. It's so stupid. It's just such a stupid word. Why do we have a stupid
Why can't it just be an orc?
Yeah, or like a dead
Goblin.
baby, which it actually was. I think it was a dead baby. Lubberkin.
Well,
And you hear this shitty voice actor deliver the words Lubberkin multiple times. Alright, let's move on to our number 2. Fallout 4 is my number 2. I might have gone a little bit too high with this one, but I'm still gonna play this instead of Witcher 3, I think, is my personal opinion. I can totally understand why people is gonna hate me for that, because they would still say that Witcher 3 is probably a still better RPG, and that's the one thing that Fallout 4 didn't do that well, was the fact that it was a pretty poor RPG. You don't really role-play a character. Your character's always a goody-goody two-shoes.
Yeah.
And that's fine for your first playthrough, but your second one, you want to be a little bit of a dick. Join the enemy.
Yeah.
But you don't have that option, really, in this one. All the factions are pretty much, a little bit asshole in their own way. So
But, I mean, for the things that it does wrong, it does a lot of things right as well.
That's the one thing I have, is just the fact that it's the RPG part that really falls down. But the rest of the game is incredible. It's still this massive world with stories in every inch, and there's still... and for once, they actually made it a very competent shooter, which is a big fucking deal in a game that involves this much shooting.
Yeah. Well, I think that was kind of the trade-off, get a bit more action, less RPG.
I understand.
Which was unnecessary, though.
I completely understand why they nerfed the RPG. I mean, they had to give the voice actor,
maybe.
Limited words to say. They couldn't possibly, record all of the inflictions.
But then just don't get a voice actor.
That's the one thing I could say. It was completely unnecessary for the main character to be voice actor.
Yeah.
It was completely unnecessary. All right. Are we going to drop the bomb?
Number 1.
Yep, here it is, the big one.
Dum dum dum. Number 1, Duck Game.
Fuck yeah. This is our number 1 game of the year because it did everything we want in a game. It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just fucking fun. It's just you pick it up, you're alone. You pick it up, it's a good game.
Yeah.
You're with friends, you pick it up, it's a good game.
I played it a lot the past few months, and every time I played it, it's just amazing.
It's just fun.
I mean, you can't really invest 5 hours at a time.
No.
15 minutes, that's the best 15 minutes you had in a long time.
Exactly. You're going to pick it up and you're going to have fun. Your friends are going to be drunk, you're going to be drunk, you're going to pick up this game and it's going to be fun. Every time you pick it up, it's going to be fun. And that's the only fucking thing you can ask from a game.
And it's such a simple game. It's really just so simple, but every time you play it, just something new and ridiculous happens.
Something different, completely different. Unexpected, causing a little bit of a giggle and a laugh, from your friends because something happened that was, completely out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Your duck dropped his gun and quacked for 2 minutes on end because you couldn't find the fucking gun button. That's it. That's
our list.
That's our number 1 is Duck Game.
Yeah.
Quickly again, it's GTA 5, then Titan Souls, then Hand of Fate, then Project Cars, Wolfenstein: The Old Blood, This War of Mine, Pillars of Eternity, Witcher 3, Fallout 4, and the number 1, Duck Game. Yep.
Yeah.
Alright.
So next up,
Let's just have a look quick, we can quickly run through the movies.
are we going to do the bottom first?
Let's do the bottom first.
Yeah.
Alright.
The worst movies of 2015.
There it is.
Okay, so you made this list.
Mostly.
Most of these worst movies I haven't seen because usually you watch them first and tell me they suck and then I'm not going to waste my time.
Pretty much.
So yeah, let's just start. At number 10.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Number
2. Yeah, there it is.
The first one was... I enjoyed
Kind
the
of
first
funny.
one. Yeah.
There was a little bit of a funny there.
Yeah.
And the second one, they decided to exactly just do a lot of the jokes again and not really spend that much time thinking about anything. It's starting to seem a lot like an Adam Sandler movie where it's literally like a bunch of jokes they wrote down and then they constructed a movie around the jokes.
That was a nice thing about the first one is you kind of expected this Adam Sandler movie and then it wasn't really. I mean, there was some jokes. There was like the story, a little bit of a storyline. It wasn't just the stupid comedy. There was, some romance and...
Was never going to make a top 10 list ever. It wasn't going to, but it also wasn't going to be just a boring for like 2 hours.
Yeah,
so,
it was a fun comedy.
Exactly. The second one just dumps all the goodwill you might have had for the first movie. And it's just unfortunate because, like I said, the first one was kind of a sleeper hit. Alright, so, next one, Unfinished Business, a shitty Vince Vaughn movie from Vince Vaughn's terrible years of making movies.
I didn't think I've even heard about this movie.
He plays like this salesman, and he quits his job from being a salesman and grabs two unfitting individuals to join him on this hopefully successful crusade of him redeeming himself in the eyes of, society and his wife.
The last movie I saw or I know about that he made was I think it was him. Where he gets all his children or something. It was him, right?
What? He gets all the children.
He finds out he's got like a bunch of children or something. I remember something vaguely I remember
It
seeing the trailer
sounds-
so many times because it was like in a period where I watched a lot of movies in cinema, and
It
every time I went, it
sounds
was like that movie's trailer.
If there's gonna be a shitty movie about a guy that has a lot of kids,
gonna
Vince
be Vince
Vaughn
Vaughn.
is probably gonna play in it. It's unfortunate
sad because
he had a couple of years.
Yeah,
He had
yeah.
a few years where he released a few good movies, where that character he always plays
Yeah.
wasn't obnoxious yet. And now it's just the same character, can't believe this is happening. Every time, that's the only thing.
the few people I know actually finished watching True Detective season 2 quite enjoyed him,
Yeah.
but I mean,
It's the one time he actually acted,
Yeah.
which wasn't the I can't believe this is happening character.
yeah.
Yeah, I watched True Detective quite a while, and his character, like I said, it is different from his usual staple.
Did you finish season 2?
No.
How far did you get?
Like episode 4?
I think I think I made it to the beginning of episode 5,
Yeah.
but most people I know episode 4.
Oh, it just dropped into boredom. It just dropped into boredom.
Such
Like
a shame because the first season was amazing,
so well written.
Yeah.
Every line of dialogue was
and then the season 2 was just like this police drama,
just boring. Just so boring.
and it was difficult to follow because there was like 10 different stories happening
Yeah.
at once.
Yeah,
So
agree.
nobody fucking knew what the fuck was going on.
It should have just been the two cops.
Yeah.
The two cops story.
They
That's
just took
one's a
everything
drunk and
that
one's a
was
cheater.
great about the first one and just flushed it down the toilet and made something different.
yeah. Why not? Why not? We could probably just add Fargo to the list now. Just say like Fargo is like the much better show now. There was a little bit of a competition between the two when the first season of each
Yeah,
came
yeah.
out, but now Fargo 2 is just.
No.
All right, next movie on the list, Maggie. Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. He didn't have a good year. He had two of the movies he made is on our bottom, but this one is Maggie, which you go in expecting that it's going to be this slightly drama-ish action about a father protecting his daughter from all the bad people that want to kill her because she's a zombie.
I remember seeing this trailer and thinking, wow, this kind of looks interesting, and then just
Thought
completely
the same.
forgot about it.
Thought exactly the same until I watched the film, at which point it turns out to be another teen drama with just a little bit of underlying she may be a zombie, might become a zombie some point. Didn't finish the movie even. As one of the very few movies I walked away.
Actually, like this amazing ending.
I doubt it. I doubt it. If it had this amazing ending, I'm pretty sure people would have talked
Yeah.
about it. But nobody mentioned this movie ever
Yeah,
since
this
its
movie
trailer
is
release.
lost in fucking...
Here's something you're going to recognize from this game immediately. You don't have a crouch button. No crouch. You see something too low, you're not going to get under it. You're going to go around. For instance, that was quite a large gap.
Yeah.
Any human being could probably get through that, but our man is in a wheelchair. With springs on it.
I
Because
think he's a tank. He's like a small vehicle.
a small vehicle. That's why he doesn't have hands.
Yeah, it's his weapons, and that's why he's supposed to have both of them out. He's supposed to have like a turret.
Like a turret.
Or like a mech.
Maybe they could have only afforded the one barrel.
Yeah. Maybe it's like shitty technology.
Probably. It's like the 1950s of the future.
I have to say, I really like the setting. It's nice cyberpunk setting.
Nice cyberpunk.
It feels very cyberpunk. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I know you rather enjoy the cyberpunk
Yeah.
stuff.
Anyway, moving on.
Right. Our next film is The Loft.
No idea. I haven't heard about it.
Yeah, I doubt a lot of people heard about it, but it's certainly upon a lot of people's top 10 worst movies of 2015. Involves four guy friends, all four of them very unfaithful gentlemen to their wives, and all four of them, renting or purchasing this apartment and using it to fuck their whomevers.
So it's not a horror movie.
What actually happens is there's a murder
Ah.
in this apartment, and all four of them are suspects because all four of them have keys. And throughout the film, you constantly say, "He's the guy that did it. He's the guy that did. That's the guy. He's definitely the guy that did it." And by the end of the film, all of your suspicions have been confirmed
Yeah.
because it's definitely the guy that you thought from the beginning that did it. So there it is.
Yeah.
You can just skip that film completely.
Yeah.
Next one.
Jupiter Ascending.
Yep.
This is one I actually know, and I kind of disappointed. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
I wish I did. Well,
It's
probably
about a
not going to.
space werewolf coming to get a space princess from Earth.
It looked pretty cool.
Yeah. Wiskowski films usually look pretty
Yeah.
cool. Cloud Atlas looked pretty cool. It was okay. Alright. Next one on the list is Terminator Genesis. Number 5, Terminator Genesis. For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. Anybody that has half a fucking brain and watched this film is gonna know exactly why it's one of the worst films ever. Even if you've never seen movies ever. You've been living in like a fucking cave and they dug you up and allowed you the privilege of sitting in a cinema and watching your first film in your life ever, and that some sadistic fucking bastards chose fucking Terminator Genesis. You're gonna sit there and, based on no previous information on what a film is, you're gonna sit there and say that
This
was
is
shit. That was so shit. And the film is pretty
Probably
shit.
not though. I mean, if you've been living in a cave your whole life and somebody shows you that there's a movie with like robots and shit, you'll be pretty surprised.
They'll probably imagine the world's already been conquered
Yeah.
by robots. Nonetheless, they're going to show you a second one, and you're going to be convinced that's still the shittiest film ever.
They should show you like Terminator 2 and then this one. Then you'll be.
Alright.
The last Terminator I watched was Terminator 3.
Yeah.
And that was okay.
You didn't watch Terminator Salvation then?
Nope.
A lot of people didn't like that one either.
For me, there's only 2 Terminators.
Yeah. This one's so bad that even in an age of only remakes and redos and sequels, they've decided to one of the most profitable franchises there is to actually put it on hold and stop it. They're never gonna make them again because it was just so bad. This film was just so bad.
I mean, let's be honest. Terminator 1 and 2 wasn't good movies.
No, they
it was
weren't.
just it's one of those typical 80s robot android cyberpunky movies that was just kind of a little bit better than the other ones and just kind of had a cult following.
Pretty much.
I enjoy watching them every now and then, but
Same
they're not
as
good movies.
They're not bad ones either.
Yeah.
I mean, from like a technical standpoint, it's a James Cameron film. So technically, the films are going to be excellent in every sense, you know. However, as you mentioned, the story it's not like a modern.
It's just it's a fun action movie.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's like what do you expect from if somebody says 80s action.
It's like Time Cop, just better. It's like a good Time Cop.
That's a very good.
It's like a
very
good Van
assessment.
Damme movie.
It's a good Van Damme movie without Van Damme.
Yeah.
In the movie.
That's
All
why
right.
it's good.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. All right, our next one is going to be 50 Shades of Grey, also for pretty obvious reasons.
Yeah, not much to say. I mean, I think everybody can agree with us. Even the people who like 50 Shades of Grey can agree with us.
Most movies made, based on books are pretty shit in general, but a movie made based on a shitty book is definitely going to be shitty. All right, next.
There's actually a funny viral video going
yeah?
around the internet where somebody edited Mr. Bean.
I saw that.
Just a
It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It fits surprisingly well.
Did you watch that movie?
What, the 50 Shades of Grey? Certainly parts. The parts I was not throwing up on. Alright, next one is Pixels. Also, obvious reasons. It's an Adam Sandler movie. Absolutely ruined and, didn't really understand the culture they were trying to make comedy
That's just
of.
such a fucking slap in the face to everybody who's played a video game ever.
If you've ever played a video game, even if you didn't like them, you're still gonna watch this film and be like, that's not how it's done.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense
I hate
at
it when
all.
a movie does something. Let's just say, like a lot of movies show like people playing D&D, and they just didn't show what they're playing isn't D&D. That's not how D&D is played. I hate it when people do that game. I mean, just do a bit of fucking research. It's not that difficult.
Like a little bit.
Yeah.
Like a little
it's
bit.
not on Big Bang Theory. They play like a D&D game, and that's not. That's what they're playing isn't D&D. I mean, they're doing the whole nerdy sit around the table miniatures, but they're not playing D&D.
Yeah.
Or if they're doing it wrong.
D&D is 50% role-playing and 50% sitting and being human calculators for the smallest amount of numbers.
I would say about 25% role playing, 25% sitting and just doing stupid shit.
That might actually be larger, come to think of it. Usually it's only one encounter we have to do, and
the rest of the time you're trying to fry marshmallows with dragons and stuff.
Yep. Alright. And number 2, Hitman Agent 47. Now, both of these films, Hitman the original one and Hitman Agent 47, both of them obviously based on the video game franchise Hitman, and both of them pretty terrible, and both of them have been entrusted to a French director who's never made a film before.
Same director who made both of them?
No. Both times, though, French directors...
But that happens every time with these like video game movies. They give it to somebody who's never made a movie before, and then the movie's terrible.
And then they are surprised when it turns out the movies are terrible.
It's like you said, Hitman isn't a difficult movie to make.
No,
a cool movie.
It can't be that difficult
to
make
like
a movie.
A cool action movie. I mean, if you take fucking John Wick and just do something like that,
you literally just replace the character of John Wick with Agent 47, and I'm pretty sure you've got a relatively decent Hitman film.
Yeah. I mean, you're never gonna get like fucking.
No, it's not gonna get a top 10 ever.
But
if you're gonna put in the time and the money, you can just as well do it a little bit properly. There's no need for these directors to fuck it up so completely.
I mean, I'm just surprised you actually watched that.
Yeah.
I mean, when I saw the trailer, or even just heard there's gonna be a new Hitman movie, I was just. There's no chance that this is going to be good.
I watched the trailer for this one, and I was like, there was no fucking possible way they could fuck this up more than the first one. And the first one is still not one of the worst films I've ever watched, which it probably is. It's probably
I didn't remember much of it.
It's a terrible fucking film, both of them. But I just thought they couldn't do it worse.
Yeah.
And it turns out they fucked
the same
it
with
up
like the
twice as bad.
Assassin's Creed movie. I can't see any way that movie's gonna be good.
Oh yeah, they're making Assassin's Creed. I immediately thought of the Prince of Persia movie for a second there.
That was okay.
It wasn't the worst.
Yeah.
That's pretty much the best you can say of any movie that comes out these days. It's just, it wasn't the worst. Alright, moving on to our number 1 worst film of the fucking year. This is a personal pet peeve of mine, and a personal vendetta I might have against this man in particular. And the movie is Chappie, if that wasn't obvious from the many rants I've done in the past towards this film. It's pretty bad.
Yeah, just another movie that I'm not gonna watch because
it's so bad. I can't think of a single redeeming feature in the entire film.
Well, I have to say, when I heard the Antwoord is gonna be in it, I just said, nope.
Yep. I didn't know who they were.
Really?
I watched the film. I didn't know who they were. Apparently was some sort of big thing about the movie was this band is actually going to play their characters in the film, and they're going to be like a big deal. But there was a reason why I thought all the actors were fucking terrible in the film.
I mean, I don't hate the Antwoord. Some of their songs are pretty cool. I've seen them live like many times, and but they're not actors.
No, never. It's fucking bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad seeing these people trying to act.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad seeing our own South African version of Jar Jar fucking Binks on the screen. Which is literally what it is. It's literally like our personal fucking... Now we have a mascot.
Yeah.
We have a shitty fucking mascot, and it's called Chappie.
I think our mascot is called Jacob Zuma.
Yeah, he is kind of more like
Jar Jar Binks.
Our Jar Jar Binks is Jacob Zuma.
Yeah.
If you don't know who that is and you're in a different country, just do yourself a favor. That's an interesting read for an afternoon.
Go into YouTube and just type in Jacob Zuma.
With additional funny, just to whittle down.
Just go and watch him try to read a number.
Yeah, any number.
Yeah.
Like just somebody's telephone number. He'd probably struggle with keeping up with what's happening. Alright, so that's our bottom 10. We can probably just do the top 10 as quickly as possible, because we all know these movies and they're awesome.
How much time we got left?
We have, on this video itself, absolutely 0. We have 0 time.
Okay.
We have like about 3 minutes.
I think there's still some time left. About 3 minutes.
About 3 minutes.
Are we gonna just quickly go through them? Or we're gonna keep it for the next episode.
Yeah, let's give him something to wait for.
Yeah. So what are we gonna talk about for the rest of the 3 minutes?
What are you gonna do for the weekend? Well, there was little to no news that reached the gaming market the past 2 months.
I've been a bit out of the loop. I was stuck without internet for about a week, and now internet's back, but like twice a day there's no internet, and when there is, it's fucking slow. So I've just been playing GTA and Bastion.
The only real news we really have is South Africa's internet is kind of fucked.
Yeah.
And
More fucked than usual.
More fucked than usual. That's about it.
Yeah.
That's about as far as a very unclimactic ending we have here. We should probably just stop it.
I think they've seen enough about the game.
Yeah, they didn't want to listen to us meander further.
848's almost coming out.
Yeah, looking forward to that one.
Yeah. The Revenant released tonight.
I want to get me some Leonardo DiCaprio movie.
Yeah.
I want to watch that.
Bastion is a pretty fun game.
We haven't talked about the new Star Wars that much, have we?
I don't think we've talked about it at all.
At all yet. Oh, it was pretty good.
That was pretty good, yeah. Pretty surprised. I watched it like 3 times in the cinema.
3 times?
Yeah.
That's incredible. I stopped at my once. Once was enough for me. I'll wait for the DVD.
I mean, I just got the opportunities to watch them again.
Of course, if I got the opportunity to watch it that many times, I would have.
I have to say, it just got better every time I watched it.
It's still...
Especially the second time, it was really cool. Because the first time, you're like, you don't know what to expect. And you're so scared that it's going to be shit. And then, because you're so scared, you judge fucking everything like crazy.
No.
You know? And the second time, I knew what to expect. I just enjoyed it.
That's the only thing. It was still a very fun movie. I love sci-fi, so just about any sci-fi movie would cut it, and this was like the godfather of all sci-fis.
Yeah.
So I was still happy to just watch it, and that's no problem for me. But I just remember when I was watching, say, Mad Max, I had a lot more happiness when I walked out of that film. It was a lot more... it's a much more, not necessarily perhaps intense film, but it was just for me a much more primal...
Like we said, it's like Star Wars was a safe movie. It was nice, enjoyed it, it was a safe movie.
Safe, yeah.
Mad Max wasn't safe at all.
And that's what made Max so incredible, was the fact that he took all the chances he could. Yeah. He got away with all of them as well.
Actually took some risks, which you don't see in like movies
Never,
anymore. Ever. Nobody takes risks anymore.
And I'm certainly going to agree that that's the one thing that Mad Max definitely did. It was a film that, it didn't give a fuck.
Yeah. So,
it wanted to try it all. It's a lot like a guy going to an orgy and hoping he finds every girl attractive there. But it really is like that.
Yeah. I mean, he wrote the script for Fury Road like in the 90s.
Is it?
Yeah. Well, it just felt like, I don't know, maybe the technology isn't great
So
enough.
we're going to wait another 20 years until he releases the next one when the script's done for that one?
The script was finished in the 90s.
So...
I think he felt like, the technology is not quite there to make this movie yet.
And that movie wasn't even that technology. No, it was.
Yeah, it was
like
pretty
technology. It was kind of technology.
Yeah. No, I think the new... Well, he said, like, he wants to do another one. I doubt we're going to wait 20 years.
Certainly don't hope so. George Miller's an old man. He better fucking make it before, he goes the way of the Lemmy.
Yeah.
That happened. That's some news we can talk about.
David Bowie passed away as well.
Yeah.
It's very sad.
Very sad.
I'm a big Bowie fan myself. Lemmy's passing was quite sad.
So many sad people dying.
Yeah. Alan Rickman passed away.
Alan Rickman passed away. That's the one I felt the biggest, I'm kind of partial to some Harry Potter. And Die Hard.
And Hans Gruber.
Of course, Hans Gruber.
I mean, I fucking watch Die Hard every Christmas. It's my Christmas movie.
Yeah, is seeing Hans Gruber fall from a
it's not Christmas
skyscraper.
until you see Hans Gruber fall from Nakatomi Plaza.
Exactly. Exactly. And now we're just reminded of What could have been Die Hard 5.
Yeah.
Alan Rickman's return. Just Alan Rickman and Die Hard. No, there's already a Die Hard 5. Die Hard 6.
Not Return of Hans Gruber, Return of Alan Rickman.
Alan Rickman.
He plays like a different character.
He just plays Alan Rickman, the actor. Which is...
Snape, he plays Snape.
He just plays Snape. Wow, this game just keeps going and going.
I remember this part, it was quite difficult.
Yeah, the
Those
shooting.
stuff that charge you is fucked up.
Yeah, those are... assholes.
Now, I was quite sad with Bowie's passing because it was. I mean, okay, Rickman's as well. It was. Lemmy's was kind of expected, you know.
Demi's was expected.
He was really sick for like a long time, for a few months.
I never knew he was sick. I always thought he was immortal.
No, he was struggling with some cancer.
Oh yeah.
But like Bowie and Rickman was just like. I
Immediate.
woke up one morning and I saw on Facebook some lady posting, rip David Bowie. And I thought, this is probably like
I saw
somebody,
yeah.
like some bullshit story somebody's spreading on Facebook, and I googled it, and I saw like on CNN and shit. I'm like,
That's
whoa.
fucking rough, dude. I just saw like somebody changing their Facebook picture
Yeah.
to a David Bowie, and then I was I thought about looking up if he died, but then I was like, nah, it's fucking David Bowie. He's like 60. He can't be dead yet. And then like a day after that, I saw it on some 9gags.
Yeah.
And that's when you know shit's real.
Yeah, yeah. If it's a 9gag.
If it's on 9gag, you know it's fucking...
Yeah.
It's for reals. Somebody died.
Well, we hope you
This,
enjoyed it. Next time we'll be back with our top 10 movies of 2015.
This was
So
our...
it's like three episodes you have to watch for our 2015 review, year-in review.
It's fucked up to think every one of our videos is an hour long.
Yeah.
And we can't do like 2 top 10... no, 4 top 10
4
lists.
top 10 lists takes us fucking 3 hours.
3 fucking hours. Fucking hell. God bless you if you're still listening to us.
Yeah. I really hope you like our stuff. I hope you're really invested in our stuff enough to actually want to hear our top 10 list, because it's going to take you 3 hours to do it.
You better be dedicated.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you very much for listening to us.